Volleyball, the most played female sport in the United States. According to the National Federation of State High School Associations, 432,000 volleyball participants are in the United States in the high school systems. Most of y'all have seen a game. I mean, a lot of y'all have played a game, maybe played a game of sand here and there, or seen our Olympic teams play. But a lot of y'all don't really understand the rules, and sometimes people get a little frustrated because they just don't really understand exactly what's going on and what they're watching, why somebody was awarded a point. Now, I've been in volleyball most of my life. I have played and been a manager since I was 13. I also played in college and was awarded a scholarship. I also coach for the last 7 years, and it's a huge part of my life, and it's what I plan on keep doing with my life, is coaching at the collegiate level. Today I'm going to just tell you a little bit about the history, about the positions, and just about the opportunities that volleyball really gives you, And in 1895, William G. Morgan invented volleyball, and that's actually pretty soon after basketball was invented as well. Back then it was really only like underhand passing. There wasn't the whole pass, set, hit thing like we see nowadays. It was just really simple. But in 1920s, when they kind of went to the 3-touch rule, because that's when they really started setting up pass, set, and hit the ball, so it's actually trajectory hitting now, not just passing over constantly. And that's also when they implemented the 3 people front row, 3 people back row, and you can't just stay front row the entire time or stay back row the entire time. Now they had a rotation system at that point. Then in 1928, the USAV was formed because it was getting big enough that they decided they needed a national regulation body. So the United States of America Volleyball, USAV, is formed, and that's still what it's being played today. In 1964, volleyball became an Olympic sport, and that's always a big big milestone for every sport, is when you become an Olympic sport. It really kind of saying you're a real sport the whole world cares about. And 20 years later, in 1984, is when the United States won their first medals, and both men and women won medals that year. And then one of the biggest last changes is in 1999 is when they switched from scoring by serve to scoring every time the ball touches the ground, which is now called rally scoring. It used to be you had to serve the ball to be able to win a point, but now every time the ball hits the ground, you're winning a point, which is called rally scoring. And the game's really getting a lot faster, it's getting a lot more technical, and that's really making it to where positions are becoming a big thing. So one of the positions are an outside hitter. This is actually me. I'm an outside hitter. That's the left side hitter of the court when they play front row. You really want your outsides to also be able to play all the way around, and their job is to also block the opposing team's right side hitters as well. The outside's really getting a lot of your bad passes that the setter's just throwing up. The outside's going to get a lot of those balls. You're going to hit probably the most balls on the team. Then this is one of my teams I've had. A lot of times the taller girls are going to be the middles. They're the middle blockers. Their job is primarily to block first. You want to get them involved in the offense, but they really have to have a good pass for them to get involved on the offense. Their main goal is to make sure they're blocking opposing teams, helping set up our defense on our side. Then a lot of times you can tell by height of the player, what position they might be. My smaller girls, we have our liberos down here, which are going to be our primary passers. They're going to play they usually play back row for the middles or for another player if they're not as good back row, and those would be your better back row players. Then I have our outsides and our right sides. Our right side is the same thing as an outside pretty much. You're just playing on the right side of the net instead of the left side. And right sides, you don't always have to be able to play all the way around like the left side you want them to, but the right side you really can make sure that you can pull them out back row if you need to. And then you also have your setter, who is the quarterback of the offense and sets up what your offense is going to run like. Who they're setting up the hitters, they're getting the second ball every single time. After that first ball is passed, your setter is going to be the one running under that second ball to set up your offense. And with all these different positions, there's just a lot of opportunities now in volleyball as far as scholarships. According to scholarshipstats.com, almost 1,800 college volleyball varsity teams were sponsored this past year, and that's averaging $5,500 a scholarship. So that's huge for these girls. Almost 30,000 girls play college volleyball, and that's from NAIA Division I. If you really want to play college volleyball and have the drive, you'll have the opportunity. And there's also even professional volleyball is a big thing coming up now, where you really get to play around the world. Get to be on Division I teams, or you get to travel to Europe, and after that get paid to play professionally, and that's something huge for girls now. Not a lot of women's sports are as opportunistic as volleyball can be now. And just in conclusion, volleyball is really a beautiful sport, and it plays with a lot of speed and style and technique, and there's a lot of different positions and things that go into it. And I hope this speech gave you a little more insight into that, and next time you watch volleyball, I hope you notice those things like position and speed and the technique of the game, and just how much has gone into this game over the years. So, thank you.